It's another adventure for the bourbon legends, and this time we're visiting Midwest Barrel Company, where we'll uncover the surprising journey your favorite bourbon barrels take after they've finished aging that golden spirit. From craft breweries and hot sauce makers to backyard barbecue masters and home decorators, these barrels live a lot more lives than you may think. Join us as we roll through the yard, meet the team, and see firsthand the story of bourbon doesn't end when the barrel is empty. It's just a brand new chapter in its life. Let's find out what happens when the bourbon is gone, but the legend lives on.
Hey everybody, good to see you again. Today we are at a very unique place. This is called Midwest Barrel Company. And what these guys do here in this business is they are, I would say, a barrel broker basically. They buy barrels and sell barrels. And we're here in Louisville, Kentucky, so let's go to Midwest Barrel Company.
Hello and welcome to the Bourbon Legends Tour, and we're in Louisville today at Midwest Barrel Company, and I'm with...
I'm Ethan Schulenberg. I'm our VP of Sales here at Midwest Barrel Company.
And I'm Justin Schultz, VP of Marketing and IT here at Midwest Barrel.
And they might have a few barrels, guys. There's just a few barrels around here.
There's a lot.
And they don't deal in the ones like you would think, the ones with all the liquid in it. They deal with the ones after they're what?
After they're emptied, yep.
Yeah, so barrels take on a second life that a lot of people don't know about after they get emptied at the distillery. And so our business is built on making it sustainable and, yeah.
Find a way to repurpose the barrels, do those type things. I also know that they get barrels in for a few of the distilleries to utilize in finishing process.
Yep.
And because we all know that the finished bourbon is still a very popular thing. I think Oloroso Sherry is one of my favorites.
Yep.
And you mentioned that you were getting a batch of those in.
Yeah,
soon.
I have a load coming. It'll arrive the middle of November. I have about 12 barrels left on the container that aren't sold. Yeah. But yeah, we bring in barrels from France. We partner with Cooperage over there and bring them in about 6 times a year.
The fun number that I like to remember was when I was reading some information was, how many barrels do you guys deal with or have in it at any one given time?
Oh man, I don't know the actual number. It's 3 to 6,000. I don't know.
Yeah, but then we have some on trailers too. So our inventory ranges probably anywhere between 4,000 and 10,000 sometimes, depending if we're just shipping in a bunch of loads. We buy all of the freshly emptied barrels from a bunch of the local distilleries around here. So what we're looking at here are all the dump bourbon barrels, but we'll see some different ones as we kind of go throughout the facility today.
Yep. And the dump bourbon barrels have a life afterwards because other distilleries across the world pick up those barrels. I think you mentioned some of the markets I didn't even know that they were picking up, because normally you think of Scotland, Ireland, because that's always was the first batch, but now you say...
Yeah, so we partner domestically with a lot of breweries, wineries, honey, maple syrup, kombucha, soy sauce. There's coffee, you name it, coffee beans. And then internationally, it's still a lot of spirits, but India has a very large single malt market that's blowing up right now.
Yeah, shout out to our folks at Drifting Drams. They do a barrel-aged coffee. They sell that and do it through the bourbon channels and things like that. They're YouTubers. So, yeah, we've heard about it, and we watch them as they do it, and they do it on a much smaller scale than some of the bigger companies, but it's kind of fun to see.
Oh, yeah.
So who's your main market right now?
I mean,
I know it shifts.
Yeah,
so it does change.
Distilleries and breweries. So domestically, we work with a lot of breweries. So breweries are putting in stouts, barley wines. Sometimes they're starting to adventure into lagers and pilsners and a little bit lower ABV stuff. But without getting super technical, they like to put in the higher ABV stuff into barrels. It's just safer. And then distillery-wise, it's people finishing bourbon in bourbon or bourbon in finishing barrels with the new TTB single malt guidelines. That's started picking up where single malt producers, American single malt producers, are buying ex-bourbon barrels to fill instead of newer barrels. So, yeah.
I would say before this year, though, it was our biggest market was probably Scotland and Ireland. A lot of people don't know, myself before I started in the industry as well, did not know that most Scotch is made in bourbon barrels, ex-bourbon barrels. So
We heard that the other day, and we talked about it a little bit. It's kind of there's been arguments among people that are big Irish drinkers, and they don't think it's like, yeah, well, it's a tie to bourbon that's used in a bourbon barrel. Is how they do it.
Yeah.
And this is a place that they come and buy those barrels.
Yep.
And what's interesting is bourbon barrels do have a life after having whiskey in them beyond just making flower planters out of them.
Exactly.
Yep.
So, do you guys want to show us around?
Yeah, we'll show you around, and we can kind of, I think it'd be great to tell you a little bit about how we got started. So, we've been around we just celebrated our 10-year anniversary, last week, 2 weeks ago?
Yep.
We started in Nebraska, Lincoln, Nebraska. That's where I'm from. Our owners, Ben and Jess, are also from Lincoln, Nebraska. And Ben, the story is kind of cool, and Justin, feel free to jump in too, but Ben went to school and got his doctorate as a venologist, so a grape grower. He knows how to grow the grapes. Maybe not making wine, but growing the grapes. So through college, he was trying to get a little bit extra income to pay for
He's an
schooling.
entrepreneur.
Yeah, hustler. He does a lot. He was buying everything from motorcycles, mowers. He sold a large volume of Barbies at one point for somebody.
Basically, he's like American Pickers, if you ever
Yes,
seen that.
yep.
Yeah.
And after a few bikes or motorcycles that maybe had to be given back to the authorities, his wife Jess, who's also a co-owner, was said, you know what, we need to kind of narrow down to one thing. So being in the wine industry in Nebraska, he bought some wine barrels. So he was driving around Lincoln, and a brewer in town kind of got word that he had some barrels and was like, what are you doing with these? And that's where the beer side of things clicked for him. He's like, wait, there's a market for barrels for beer. And then the rest is history. And we've been, he moved from a storage unit. I remember helping him load barrels at a UPS store where he'd have a truckload back there and he'd unload them. We'd have to roll them off. And then we just kind of gradually grown from there. And now we're in our, 75,000 square foot facility. And we've been here for about 4 or 5 months. So
We moved to Louisville 3
2.5, 3 years ago. Yep.
Yeah. So I guess question for your viewers too, though, is Louisville part of the Midwest? So we are Midwest Barrel Co., but we moved to Louisville.
Yeah, that's what I was
Nebraska.
wondering.
So that's the story behind
I
that.
almost made a comment, and I'm like, Nebraska. Okay, now I get the
Yeah.
name.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, that's the why.
so now, do you guys just know about selling barrels and buying barrels, or do you actually know something about the barrels? Like I'm looking behind you, Ethan, and there's a big black spot right here.
Yep, right here.
Is that just from a leak, or what causes that?
Yeah, this would be from a leak, most likely very early on when it filled. And rick houses, gradually throughout the year, a lot of your viewers may have heard the barrel breathe. So when it gets colder, especially in Kentucky, it contracts, and when it gets warmer, it opens up. Well, leaks spring, it's wood, the nature of wood, things do happen. So a lot of these, leaks have sprung and then they seal themselves up. And you'll notice some of them have a little bit of more of a shine with some crusties on it. People call that barrel candy.
It's good, isn't it?
And
Have you guys tried it?
I mean, I have.
Yeah.
Teach their own as far as it's good.
a little
But
fat. I mean, you won't eat much of it, right?
the best barrel candy is maple syrup barrels.
Yeah, it's covered.
Yep.
Yeah.
It'll be if they are leaking, which we would not sell to anybody, but the you can just break off the crystallized sugars and it's delicious.
So you mentioned some of the wine barrels.
Yeah.
Do you guys still buy any wine barrels back from the wineries and those type things?
So we do. You can see some way down there.
That's what I saw.
But wine barrels, we buy neutral wine barrels. So barrels in general are neutral after about 5 uses. So at a winery, they're aging them, maybe 2-3 years, and they're using them 3, 4, 5 times. So when we buy them, they're neutral, meaning the oak has been fully extracted. There's probably a little bit left in there, but back even 3-4 years ago, a lot of our wine barrels were sent to breweries to do barrel fermentation projects. So sour beers in barrels.
Yep.
And that has kind of declined a little bit, but I do see a lot of wineries that like using these barrels, and then breweries will still use the wine barrels to impart some character. And we've sent a few container loads overseas too.
Yeah, because I know from the wine side, I have a little information on that a lot of them will do barrel aged wines using a bourbon barrel.
Yep.
But then once they're barrels, they use them through, you run Cabernet through them, Zinfandel, whatever, and they run it through their course.
Yep.
Then they take it and they can either utilize it for a Chardonnay or something like that with a little bit different flavor to it. The other thing that's been coming on big has been a lot of barrel-aged gins.
Yeah.
And you guys are probably getting a few people asking for barrels to try to find a more unique product for that.
Yeah, we've partnered with, in the past, Caledonia Spirits, which does Bar Hill gin, Tomcat gin. It's a barrel-aged gin, and they actually use new oak for their gin, and it's fantastic. Super heavy vanilla. But there's a lot of good barrel-aged gins coming up. There's one up in Cincinnati. I am blanking on the name, but there's a lot of them coming up now.
Yeah, we went to a couple of places on our travels list last week or so that they're doing that product, and it's kind of that gateway into for bourbon into the gin side, those type of things, because they have a bourbon barrel sitting there and they want to utilize it.
Yep.
And
We've seen more barley wines recently too, I feel like.
yeah, exactly. A lot of barley wine type stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Well, I have a question. I see here these barrels here are marked with chalk. Now, what do you do? Do you guys here actually do you repair barrels that may have a leak? I'm assuming that is a defect or a leak that you've indicated with it. So, do you guys fix that, or do you just sell a barrel and they make like a planter out of it, or how does that go?
Yeah. So when we unload our barrels, our team is carrying chalk. So we have different guidelines, and we can kind of tell you a little bit more down the road about those. But they will just mark every barrel depending on what they find. So this barrel, for example, if you come in close,
It's coming all the way across the state. So that we can't sell that as fillable right now.
yep.
Okay.
So it has a crack across the stave, which in some of our customers' eyes that would be an unfillable barrel. So we want to be as diligent as possible to start and grade those barrels coming in, and we also do a secondary grading as they're going out to eliminate any sort of issues. And that comes to just the whole sustainability aspect of our business, where we try to use the barrel to its fullest. Engravings, barbecue smoking wood, and beyond. So
So, in that instance, that barrel would more than likely be broke down and used.
maybe.
Okay.
A couple
Different
options,
standards.
right? We could move it into a decor grade or furniture grade barrel and sell it as that. Or we could turn it into a planter. We could turn it into smoking wood chunks, all different avenues for us to try and maintain a sustainable practice. But the other big option is to repair it. So we are not a cooperage here, but we do have coopering partners. So we will send that off to one of our coopering partners, and they'll go send it off with a couple shifters. So these are just the extra barrels that they take the staves off of to fix the rest of the barrels, and then they'll send it back to us, and we'll sell that as a full fillable.
So nothing here goes to waste, basically.
No.
That's the idea.
Yep. And to touch on that barrel, since you zoomed in close, you'll notice this one is also missing a ring, and it seems like it's up here. So we would probably not send that barrel.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good catch.
Just noticed the barrel was missing the ring. So, and touch on, I mentioned finishing barrels. We have a few here. You'll see, we partner with distilleries such as, your Buffalo Trace brands. But the finishing barrels are another thing we've been bringing in. These are cherry liqueur barrels, cerise.
Like cherry wood there.
It's a cherry liqueur.
So what's the barrel? Is this a white oak barrel or?
Yeah, it's probably French oak. We'd have to kind of.
It looks, the graining on it. It looks a lot different than a regular white oak. But
Yeah, so wine barrels are a little bit different. This one is a port barrel, and I think this is actually a California port barrel. And wine barrels either come from American oak or French oak. You can find some Hungarian oak and some Spanish oak here and there and some other varietals, but mainly American and French oak. And you're right, the grains are a little bit different than your American oak. Harder to fill initially, usually. But a lot of wineries will use these and they toast the insides instead of charring, where whiskey barrels are going to be charred.
Okay.
Yep.
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 And you want to take us on?
See
we'll
what
keep
else
on
we've
going
got
down.
going here? So do you guys have a specific way to palletize your products as far as char levels, or is it just
It's
what comes in, you put in, what goes out? I mean, how do you keep track of what you actually are dealing with?
That's Justin can touch on it, but it's a lot by brand.
Okay.
Yeah, we do separate some things out, like Willet, for example. If we receive those in, we're gonna separate your bourbons, rye, family estate bourbons. So we'll separate those out into 4 different SKUs. Whereas some containers or trucks coming in, we know those are all Russell's Reserve, or those are all one thing. But Justin handles a lot of the digital side of that, which is.
Yeah, it's can be complicated to keep track of all the things in our. We have a digital system that we use
So
to.
you have like a code on each barrel that you can scan, basically, or
No, we're actually counting bays, so I can look into what's in any given bay and tell you. And then when we're picking for orders, it'll pull FIFO for us. So we're always taking the oldest. Now, if sometimes what'll happen is if we've got barrels that have been sitting too long and they're dried out, and the system picks those, well, we can't send those to the customer because they've dried out, and that's why we also grade when they're going out as well as when they're coming in. And so in that scenario, we're going to have to find the right bay to fulfill the order and make sure that the system is accurate. And it's a daily battle. I'll put it that way. Because the other thing too is like a lot of them. Certain brands we can and cannot advertise when we're selling on our website. And so we will group them by if we know there was like the who made the juice that we can mention versus like who the individual brand is. I'm trying to give like an easy example.
You know, these distilleries that are doing a lot of just production for other brands, if we get permission from those smaller brands, we will, put them on our website using that brand. Otherwise, we just keep it very general. Is a good example. So, yeah, but you'll notice here as we walk around, there's a lot of safety features. We're all wearing vests. There's a lot of lines and numbers on the floor. Give a lot of credit and props to Tim. He's our warehouse manager. He's got a lot of experience working with Toyota, Buffalo Trace, Wild Turkey. And because of that, he's made us extremely safe. I don't know what number we're at, but
Over
we're
700 days without an accident.
Yep.
not even a splinter?
No, I mean, I haven't gotten one. So yeah,
There's a sign over there.
very
That's
tidy.
with the numbers. So this is actually our production area for the Bourbon Barrel chunks here. So just another way to be sustainable. You can come on over here and take a look. So we'll get either ships as staves, or if we got to break down barrels that we can't sell as fillable barrels, we'll chunk them all up into here. It's straight from the barrel. If your camera could smell, it would be smelling real good in there right now.
Oh, we need to smell the vision.
Yeah. And then we bag them here. It's about 2-pound bags here.
And people are just using this for smoking wood.
Correct. Yep. So.
I mean, for
barbecue
yeah, not
smoking.
just not smoking. Not like rolling it in
Yeah,
a
no.
cigarette and smoke.
No. We're smoking meats with this. So,
Gotcha.
Yep.
It does have a really nice smoky flavor, and the smell when you're smoking with these is fantastic.
Now, okay, I was at another distillery a month or so back in Tennessee that you had went to, and do you have to use lighter fluid when you use these?
I haven't had to.
Okay, so like it's got enough juice still left in it.
Yeah.
We'll say,
Yeah.
or maybe enough proof still left in
I
it.
would
that
say so,
It'll
yeah.
light up pretty good.
I mean, these are, you could feel it. Some of them are
Well, you
still-
can see the
Yeah.
line on the barrel.
Yeah.
And to kind of touch on that a little bit more, a lot of the people who are buying these are using like a big green egg. So they'll start super hot using coal and then throw a chunk on every, half hour to
Just to
hour
get that
to get that oak character going in.
Right.
Once it's going, the oak burns a lot better than bitter maple.
Right.
Yep.
And I'm sure that the whatever distillate was in the barrel to begin with probably imparts a good flavor into whether you're doing, you know, pulled pork or brisket. If you're from Texas, I'm from Arkansas. It's a pork. What do you? I mean, you were from the Midwest.
I'm a
right?
brisket. I lived in Texas for a few years before coming here. So,
All right, so
I'm,
you're
I'm
a
a big
brisket
brisket
fan.
guy.
So
Okay.
I've done pork butt, and what I exclude from the rub is brown sugar, because a lot of those vapors from the bourbon impart some vanilla and sweet notes to it, and that's where I think they really shine. Is it imparts the bourbon character, not the alcohol per se, but the notes you get: caramel, maybe some char, obviously, smoke, vanilla. And different characters.
Right. Anybody that's a cook knows, like, well, my wife makes this famous cake. You could ask the other guys over there. Every time we see Daniel, he has to have a cake made for him. See, Daniel's there, give him a thumbs up. We're going to shout out to my wife, and she can either make it with bourbon or she makes it with rum.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, "Oh, I'm going to get drunk off of this." No, because when you put it in, it's warm and it evaporates out,
Cooks
but
off.
you get those leftover flavors. Now, here's a question. This is what I love about doing these interviews, because we come in it raw. We have no idea what we're going to ask. But I know you guys are entrepreneurs. You're coming up with a lot of different things. Have you ever thought about doing and taking these chunks and actually putting them through one of those pellet machines where you actually have pellets?
We used to have pellets.
We did.
Okay, and it used to, so why do we not
Yeah,
do
I would love to. The problem is volume, so we couldn't find a pellet producer that ended up working out for all parties involved.
Okay, so this is just an easier way to do it.
Yeah,
And
we could
us-
do this in-house. So we do this we used to also make chips in-house, but we used to rent chippers from Home Depot, and we got banned from Home Depot because oak is hardwood, and we were busting up blades, chipping all of the bags up.
Little problem.
So we've kind of come back to just sticking with the chunks as kind of the main product line, but that's not to say we'll never have pellets again.
So the poor guy like me who has a Traeger grill,
Same.
Yeah.
I mean, all you can do is take this, wrap it up in aluminum foil, and then stick it under the burner.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
well,
might have one bag of pellets laying around we can find.
Somewhere.
that's okay. Hey, I know how to cook, so I can do the aluminum foil trick. Honestly, out of all the things, being from Arkansas, we have a lot of pigs there. A lot of barbecue. It's always pork. Sorry, not a whole lot of
Hey, I
brisket.
love pork too.
I do love a good brisket sandwich. I had one the other day, actually, it's in Tennessee. But I've never cooked with a used barrel.
Yeah.
So that may be something I have to try to do at some point. And then if it's really super good, then I'll be stuck having to do the
Do it
on the Traeger.
Oh, yeah.
So, what's next, gentlemen?
Awesome. So I think I just briefly mentioned, but we do offer some engraving services.
Yeah.
Before we go in there, there's a couple of cool versions over here that I can take a look at.
So y'all offer laser engraving on stage.
Yep.
And
Heads, barrels.
barrel heads, okay.
Yeah, and so this is a consumer product, but it also is a direct or a business product. So like sometimes a distributor will want to get a little stand up in a liquor store, and instead of, to make it look a little nicer, they'll want a barrel with an engraving on it to kind of show things. So that's a nice little business line for us, as well as anybody for your man cave and all the things we've got going. So where we'll go in just a second here is talk to Mitch. Mitch is our in-house maker, so he's the guy that does all the engravings, makes all the planters, does all of the more woodworking type things here in Midwest. So
Nice. Well, let's go check that out. I may know a thing or two about a laser. I know I'd make more money if I actually was like removing hair with a laser, a laser engraver. Hey, what's going on? We want to check you out here, see what all kinds of goods you're making.
So yeah, this is Mitch. He does a lot of our production work, all of our production work, and this is like the actual production side, whereas the clean side is the engraver side. So he's currently prepping awards. So each year we sponsor an event up in Chicago called FOBAB. It's a festival of barrel aged beer, wood and barrel aged beer. So we do the awards for those, and that comes up first week of November. But yeah, it's a pretty exciting time. He's got a lot going on right now.
We'll just take this nice and smooth. Now, I have to ask you a question because I may do a process different. So you're actually sanding first, then engraving, then do you come back and sand it again
Just a light sand after.
get the burn
Yeah.
off of it? Okay.
Mostly
Well,
because I'll throw a cleaner on it after it comes out of the engraver to get some of that char off the top,
Right.
and then that kind of eats away that wood a little bit. So I'll just kind of give it a nice little fine
Yeah,
tune.
just a little final touch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. See, we could probably hook up with just talking about woodworking and everything. So this is neat. I've actually never seen anything like this, but great concept. So you just take the stave, and obviously you're grading so they all are the same diameter and whatnot, and that would be cool.
Hey, nothing goes to waste here. So these are actually, when we do the barrel heads, we cut the two heads off the barrel, like right here and right here.
So
Those are the middle cuts.
Yeah.
Okay. And I know a little bit about barrels. I know, and I can't think at the moment because we're shooting this live. But the biggest stave, the widest stave, usually has a name, and that's where the bung goes in it.
We
Is
just
that
call
what
it
y'all call
bunghole
them, bung
stave.
staves?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, when we have my friend Jay Gibbs, who's a Cooper, on here, we'll see what he calls it.
I think it's a question for the audience.
There you go.
Okay.
You guys put in the comments on today's video. Hey, let us know, what is that stave called?
Bung stave. That's what we call
I
it
have
in the Midwest.
I have it on my just a little hint. I have it on my YouTube setup. I have a picture of a barrel that's all broken down, and it's in there under my comments. So take a look at it. Let us know what it is.
All right.
And you can, just so everybody can see, barrels, they still have how deep the bourbon has gone in. But Mitch does a good job of kind of cleaning up the char and making it, not as
And that's
dirty.
nice. Let me see that logo.
We will
that you
poly
put
it
on.
too. Yeah, so because you don't want that rubbing off.
Right. You don't want people to get dirty.
Right. Well, people don't want to get dirty, so.
No, that's true. All right. Well, very good, gentlemen.
You gotta follow that guy.
move on. All right. I want to see this process. So literally, go from one to well. Now that's a laser. Now
Yeah.
that's a big laser. I don't. Mine's a 60-inch. So
Yeah, that's probably about a
yeah.
little smaller than that. Maybe
Yeah, it's
not,
probably
maybe.
about that epilogue there. All right. So you guys want to show us the process?
Yeah.
I know everybody's going to be fascinated with this, but me.
He does it
And,
himself.
And I have a laser at home, so.
It's ready to go.
I was going to say, can you just check the artwork quick? Are you able to edit things? Can you change the text there to say
So we're going to
the
check
Bourbon
after what they're
Legends?
doing.
Probably not.
They're going to change, but if not, what kind of software are you running?
I
Lightburn?
use Corel.
Corel. Okay.
Yeah.
Check out Lightburn. Lightburn is a great
Lightburn is good.
software for that.
They use Illustrator and Photoshop for the graphic side of it, but
I'm going to
Corel
go
tends-
see if
Yeah,
just
I can go
modify.
on quick.
Okay, cool.
Right.
I mean, we use already works for this
What are
big
we
one over
talking
here,
about?
kind of like AutoCAD.
Okay.
The Bourbon
But
Legends.
That one's pretty specific on the program that it coordinates with. Yeah, I'm gonna build it.
Okay, our graphic designer is going to modify it quick.
He's got-
And these are CO2 lasers? Or
this one's a water laser, and these
Okay.
epilogues are CO2.
Okay, no fiber laser here. So you can't do any etching on the metal.
No.
Okay, well,
Unfortunately not.
might have to get. Do you see that? He said, unfortunately not. So maybe in the budget somewhere, because that would be cool to actually come over here and actually have something lasered out in the metal.
Oh, yeah.
But you have to have that fiber laser
Yeah.
to do metals. So
I haven't looked into it.
yeah.
Just to double check.
I've looked into it as well, and I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It gets a little expensive. And you know what seems to be the case is every time we go to find somebody with a fiber laser, it's broken down, needs a part, and everything else. Because before we came down here, we went to 5 different places. All of them were waiting on a part for their fiber laser.
Oh, wow.
It was like, okay, so I guess we're not going to get one.
So right now, we just want to tell y'all we're going to take a little break.
Oh,
We're going to come back. So if you're liking what you're seeing,
like
and
comment, subscribe. Remember, Craig doesn't like this, but put as much as you want in that comment. Put a couple of phrases, put everything else, because YouTube likes it, and I like it. But, just put it out there, put as much comments you want, and we'll be right back.
And what's your web address?
It is
MidwestBarrelCo.com.
Yep.
US Barrel
MidwestBarrelCo.com.
MidwestBarrelCo.com. I should know that because I've been emailing you guys since
And you've been buying barrels from them.
That's right. That's right. We'll be right back, folks.
Join us for part 2 of our visit with Midwest Barrel Company.